This video is to introduce you to the basic interface of Adobe Photoshop CS6. This is the type that we have in the computer lab. What I'd like to show you are basic elements such as the menu bar, the tools panel, the palettes, the options bar, and the document tabs, and I'll show you very quickly a status area down here at the bottom. Let's begin with the menu bar. The menu bar up here at the top includes the file menu. This is where you're going to save for web. That's going to come later. The image menu. This is going to be very important later on when you are adjusting the image in various ways: brightness, contrast, color. Then we have the window over here in which you can choose your palettes that will appear on the right-hand side. That is the menu bar. The tools panel is over here on the left. At the top, we have the move tool. That's a basic one that you'll use to move things around, including different layers. You have the marquee tool, which can be changed into a rectangle or an elliptical marquee. We also have the lasso tool right here to make specific selections. We have the quick selection tool right here so that you can select things semi-automatically. There's a crop tool in which you can reduce the size of the image by cutting out parts you don't want. I'm going to skip down. One tool down here that you'll see is the text tool. We're going to be using that later. And then down here at the bottom, we have the zoom tool, and that allows you to zoom in and zoom out if you don't want to use the keyboard shortcuts. We also have the color palettes. This is the foreground color, and this is the background color. You can reset those by clicking on this. You can switch them by clicking on that. And if you want to set a color, you can just click on that, and you'll get a color picker that comes up here. So that's the tools panel. Over here on the right, we have the palettes. The palettes allow you to control a lot of different things about the image. Some of the more important palettes will include the layers palette right here. Right now I only have one layer, but you'll have multiple layers in the future. This is the history palette right here that shows you all of the actions that you've taken up until this point. It's kind of like a super undo and redo palette. There's another one that you might want to have, which would be the type palette. For that, you'd want to go to Windows, and you'd want to go to, let's see, Character. And now I have, as you can see, a character palette right over here. That includes character and paragraph. That allows me to choose the alignment and the margins, as well as the font and the size, spacing, color, all of those different things. You can move these around. For example, if I want to grab these two, I can click on this little part right up here, and I can drag them out so they can be free floating. I can click on that and they'll come out. Or I can include it back over here. I could include it over here. Or I could include it over here, and I could give them their own layer, and then they'd be expanded all the time. You might want to do the same thing with the history palette. I find that that's useful to put right over here. I don't use adjustments and styles too much. If you don't want to see that all the time, you can click on the tab, or double click on the tab, that is, and that'll reduce it. And you can also control how big these are by clicking in between them, and you can make them bigger or smaller as you like. So that is the palettes area. Now we have an options bar up here. The options bar is going to change every time you select a new tool in the tools panel. And so that allows you to choose how each of these tools will work. For example, if I choose the text tool, then I can choose the font and the size, things like that. If I choose the marquee tool, I can choose something called the feather, which you're going to be using soon, as well as other things as well. So that's handy to use. Then we have the document tabs. You'll notice that I have two documents open. One is called Bamboo, the other is called Pondflower. And if I click on those, you can see that it changes the image that I'm looking at. Every time you open up a new document, it will have its own tab right up here. These tabs will show you the zoom that you have. This one is at 33%, this one is at 50%. It'll also tell you what type of image. This is an RGB. That's for display on monitors. CMYK would be for display and print. Now down here at the bottom, I also have an area which allows me to see the size of the document. Right now it's over 7 megabytes. If I click here, a very important one is called Document Dimensions, and this allows me to see the size of the document. Now you'll notice that right now it's showing in centimeters, and I don't want that. I want that to show in pixels. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to the Edit menu, and I'm going to go down to Preferences, and under Preferences I'm going to choose Units and Rulers. This is something that you should do as well, so that things will appear in pixel measurements. Once again, in case you missed that, you go to the Edit menu, you go down to Preferences, and in Preferences you choose Units and Rulers. Under Units and Rulers, you want to change the ruler from centimeters or anything else that it is and make it into pixels. The type can stay as it is, but the rulers should be in pixels. There you go. So I'm going to click OK. And now you can see down here that it shows me the dimensions of my image in pixels. If I switch my image to this one, you'll see that, again, I've got the document size, but let me go to document dimensions. This is now in pixels too. I've got 1,739 pixels by 1,400 pixels. Now I can change the appearance of this in various ways. I can do Control plus or minus. Minus to go to zoom out, plus to zoom in. I can also do Control 0 to make the picture fit within the open window, or Control 1, it'll make it full size. I can also hold down the Alt key and then scroll in and scroll out, and that'll allow me to zoom smoothly. Alright, so that's all I wanted to show you in this introduction to the Adobe Photoshop CS6 interface. Please watch the instruction videos to help you understand how to do your various Adobe project lessons.